WADR, promoting dialogue.
It's midday in Dakar, 1 o'clock in Abuja. Good afternoon and many thanks for staying tuned to West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and around the world on wadr.org. Welcome to Newslink. Here are the top stories. Abidjan court rules in favor of opposition PDCI leadership, orders reinstatement of complainant Valerie Yapo as party executive.
Valerie Yapo was dismissed on 4 out of 5 of her requests. I believe she lost the case in favor of the PDCI.
Benin's Economic and Financial Crimes Court indicts 2 officials of New Labour Party with corruption and money laundering. Burkina Faso invests over 104 billion CFA francs in agriculture sector to ensure food security amidst insecurity.
The large part of the suitable land for agriculture are secured. And that's why we have also volunteers in different villages. So the part that insurgent really controls is basically the north region, the Sahel region, but also in the east region.
And health authorities in Togo track 55 confirmed mpox contact cases. Details of these stories and more coming up shortly.
Christopher Aticho with Newslink.
Many thanks for joining our broadcast and a warm welcome to our listeners in the Sahel region and beyond. We begin the bulletin in Côte d'Ivoire, where the long-awaited verdict in the case involving PDCI executives Valerie Yapo and Tijani Chiam was finally delivered on Thursday after 2 previous postponements. The Abidjan Plateau Court of First Instance dismissed Yapo's lawsuit against Chiam, which aimed at challenging his legitimacy as president of the Democratic Party of Côte d'Ivoire PDCI. However, both Yapo and Chiam's legal team have claimed victory over the court ruling. Emo Edit has the details in the following report.
This trial, described as a judicial marathon, concluded this Thursday with the Abidjan Plateau Court ruling in favor of Tijani Chiam, effectively ending a lengthy legal battle. The news was shared on social media by Angie Rodriguez Jaje, a member of the PDCI Lawyers Collective, who expressed his support for the decision benefiting his client.
Valerie Yapo was dismissed on 4 out of 5 of her requests. I believe she lost the case in favor of the PDCI. The sanction against Valerie Yapo was annulled by the court. The court dismissed her claim for damages. So, the PDCI won its case.
However, this ruling has sparked controversy. Valerie Yapo, the complainant, contests the judgment and argues that it is partially in her favor. She believes that the reinstatement of her status as a member of the PDCI Political Bureau marks a significant step forward. During her appearance on Le Grand Talk, a program aired by private channel Live TV, she also noted that the current PDCI candidate for the 2025 presidential election has resigned, interpreting this move as confirmation of the irregularities in his ascent to party leadership.
I was not disgusted. In what I submitted as a summons, it was to reinstate my path to justice. The one who sanctioned me was illegal, so she gave an order to officially reinstate me.
Meanwhile, Valerie Yapo plans to meet with her legal advisors this Friday to consider potential next steps regarding this matter.
A report from Marcel Aristo Blaine, Abidjan, and voiced by Imo Edet. Ahead of the 2026 presidential election in Benin, two high-profile officials, including an official from the Ministry of Interior and founder of the New Liberal Party, have been indicted on charges of corruption and money laundering. This indictment was made public by the Court for the Repression of Economic Offences and Terrorism on Thursday, May 22. These charges stem from alleged payments made by the New Liberal Party leader, Richard Boni Oro, for assistance in obtaining recognition for the party or for his political party. Additionally, a third official from the Ministry of Interior, who is the party's Secretary General, is also facing prosecution. Augustine Colley completes the story.
The leader of the New Liberal Party, Richard Boni Oro, and an official from the Ministry of the Interior have been indicted for corruption and placed in custody as of early Thursday, May 22. Their lawyers submitted observations to the special prosecutor and argued before the judge responsible for liberties and detention, but they were unsuccessful in preventing their pre-trial detention. During the initial proceedings, Prosecutor Mario Metono stated that the accused had confessed to doing the investigation. He noted that Uworu, the founder of the party, admitted to paying 7 million CFA francs to officials in exchange for their assistance in obtaining his party's approval. Additionally, a senior official from the Ministry of the Interior, the Director of Political Parties and Electoral Affairs, confessed to receiving 5 million CFA francs, which was discovered at his residence during a search. As a reminder, this case was first announced on Friday, May 16 by Special Prosecutor Mario Metono just 1 year ahead of the presidential election, in which the current head of state, Patrice Talon, is constitutionally barred from participating. Before his arrest, the New Liberal Party leader Richard Boni Oro was very active in the media and on social networks, presenting himself as a successful Beninese entrepreneur living in Canada with presidential ambitions for 2026. He shared numerous videos that cultivated an image of him as an approachable and generous individual.
Augustine Colley filed the report. On more legal matters, let's cross over to Mali, where the trial concerning the purchase of a presidential plane and military equipment has been postponed until June 2, 2025. This case involves an amount of 130 billion CFA francs and dates back to 2014 during the regime of Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta. The main accused, Buhari Fili Sissoko, appeared in court for the trial in critical health condition. Abdullahi Hassan reports.
Buhari Fili Sissoko appeared before the Assize Court on a stretcher on Thursday. Few minutes into the trial, his lawyers requested a postponement due to his health condition. However, his new request for release was denied. Danguina Tonkora is one of Sissoko's lawyers.
Everyone saw it as a disaster, a disastrous image. It's really a constraint on human dignity. As a lawyer, I would complain. Otherwise, we have to respect human dignity. Because to compare to a chair session, you have to be in good health. When you are not in good health, how would you like us to compare? It's not possible. As for the request for a release, it was rejected. It was formulated for Mrs. Buhari Fili Sissoko.
Last November, the trial was suspended to allow for the hearing of new witnesses. In the meantime, 4 out of the 5 members of the court have been replaced. Tonkora stated that he does not understand this change.
And the trial has been spread with a new composition. Apart from the president, all the other 4 advisors have completely changed. This is unprecedented. It is the first in the annals of a criminal trial. The trial should proceed with the same composition, but we do not know why the composition has changed.
The former Minister of Economy and Finance is accused of embezzling public funds related to the purchase of a presidential plane and military equipment worth 130 billion CFA francs. The case dates back to 2014 and she has consistently proclaimed her innocence. The trial is scheduled to resume on June 2, 2025.
A report from our Bamako correspondent Alio Chiaman, voiced by Abdullahi Hassan. To matters of energy now, Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye and his Mauritanian counterpart Mohamed Ould El Ghazouani on Thursday visited the Grand Tortue Aimeyem gas plant or platform to observe the progress of a combined gas project situated along the border between Mauritania and Senegal. This project positions both countries among the leading liquefied natural gas exporters in West Africa. The first gas shipment was successfully loaded by British Petroleum BP, the project's main operator, last April. During the visit, President Faye emphasized the importance of prioritizing the local market. Here is an extract from President Bassirou Diomaye Faye.
This gas is first and foremost a lever for local development, a fuel for our energy sovereignty, and a driving force for our industrialization and the structural transformation of our economies. In this regard, Senegal has laid important foundations for delivering a portion of this gas from the depths of our coasts to the local market. Thus, the contract for the construction of the northern segment of the Senegalese gas network has been signed. This network will transport GTA gas to the Gardon power plant, the future pivotal energy facility for the northern electrification of our country. The state expects the contractors present here to unconditionally fulfill their obligation to supply domestic gas needs using resources extracted from GTA. It is clear that a portion of the liquefied natural gas production from phase 1 of the GTA, in the order of 20 to 25%, will be intended to supply the domestic market to support a progressive, controlled, and sustainable structural decline in energy prices in our country.
Progressive, maîtrisée et durable des prix de l'énergie dans notre pays.
Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Ghana's Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has returned to the country after traveling to the United Kingdom for medical treatment. She left Ghana in early April due to a sudden illness that required further attention. Upon her return, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman was warmly welcomed by President Mahama, his wife Lodina, and other government officials. From Accra, Nadi Tete reports.
Ghana's Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, is back in the country after an extended medical leave abroad. She arrived on Thursday to a warm reception led by President John Mahama and First Lady Lodina Mahama. Also at the airport were key government officials, including Chief of Staff Julius Debra and the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasiela Toforson. While welcoming her return, the President urged her to ease into her duties and called for better investment in national health infrastructure.
I think in all this it raises the issues of us improving our health care so that we can handle emergencies like this. We built a quintillion hospital, which is the UGMC, but it's still not at the stage where it can handle some of these cases. And so it's a call to duty that we should implement it the way Professor Mills had intended it to be so that in future emergencies like this can be handled, without us having to fly out. But we're happy to have you. The doctors say you are 20 years younger and that you are okay and fit for the job. But we'll ask that you take it easy for a little while, and afterwards we'll see how things go.
Vice President Opoku-Agyeman, who first received care at the UGMC before traveling abroad, expressed gratitude and excitement to be back.
I want to say thanks to God. His mercies have been infinite. I express gratitude to the medical staff too, for seeing the right thing, for making the right proposals. So I'm very happy to be back, and there's so much that has happened that we all need to do. And I know that with our collective will, we'll do much more for our country.
Her return ends weeks of speculation over governance continuity and is expected to bring renewed energy to the administration's agenda. For WADR, Nadidi Teti, Accra.
Elsewhere, the Liberian government has proudly celebrated a historic milestone with the introduction of its first Marine captain, Sam Jabba, and its first Marine pilot, William Adolphus Lasana. This landmark achievement represents a major step forward in strengthening the country's maritime sector. The initiative was spearheaded by the APM terminals in close collaboration with local stakeholders, underscoring a shared commitment to developing national expertise and advancing Liberia's position in global maritime operations. WADR's Monrovia correspondent Abraham Parker reports.
This initiative is part of APM Terminus Leaders of the Future program aimed at enhancing the skills of local talent in Liberia's maritime sector. During the unveiling ceremony on Thursday, Clay Shen, managing director of APM Terminus, highlighted the company's commitment to training key personnel, reinforcing the importance of developing homegrown expertise. He added that Captain Jabba and Pilot Lassanan's achievements are not merely personal trumpets. They serve as a beacon of inspiration for all Liberians to pursue careers in maritime disciplines.
They have been the first one who have taken the journey to become a captain and to become pilot. And I think it's an incredible achievement for Liberia. And I really hope that there will be people who will be inspired by them to follow in their steps and find a job in the maritime.
Also speaking during the ceremony was Nito Lai, Commissioner General of the Liberia Maritime Authority, who commended the efforts of APM Terminus and its partners, describing the occasion as a pivotal moment that signifies a new era for Liberia's maritime industry.
I'd like to appreciate APM Terminal and SIFSA for the innovation. This whole idea about promoting the Liberianization policy and then training Liberians, providing them the opportunity.
As Liberia progresses, the dedication and accomplishments of its first trained marine captain and pilot are set to motivate many to explore careers in this vital field, paving the way for a brighter future in the nation's maritime endeavors. For Newslink on WADR, Abraham Parker, Monrovia.
You're still listening to Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and around the world on WADR.org. We are also live on Facebook at WADR English Service, as well as YouTube at WADR News. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Abidjan court rules in favor of opposition PDCI leadership, orders reinstatement of complainant Valerie Yapo as party executive. Benin's Economic and Financial Crimes Court indicts 2 officials of New Liberal Party with corruption and money laundering. Still ahead in the news, Burkina Faso invests over 104 billion CFA francs in agriculture sector to ensure food security amidst insecurity. And health authorities in Togo track 55 confirmed mpox contact cases. We do have the guest interview and sports news. Please stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time. Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
In the agro sector, the government of Burkina Faso has initiated the 2025-2026 agriculture campaign by distributing a large quantity of agro-pastoral and fishing equipment to producers. The total value of the agro-pastoral equipment is estimated at 104 billion CFA francs, approximately $179 million US. They include tractors, motor pumps, motor cultivators, multi-purpose grinders, and sweet potato processing units. Additionally, producers will receive minerals and organic fertilizers, trucks, motorcycles for field agents, floating cages, as well as livestock support, among other equipment. On Thursday, Captain Ibrahim Traore officially launched the campaign in Bobo Dioulasso, emphasizing that the significant batch of equipment is aimed at modernizing and intensifying agricultural production. However, concerns arise regarding how the majority of farmers across Burkina Faso will access these equipment, considering the constant terrorist attack on the country's territory. Yusuf Ouattara is a farmer in Burkina Faso, and he speaks about the situation.
Based on the experience of last year, so farmers who want their land to be plowed, they express a request from local authorities or local services of agriculture. And those services registered the demand, and then they will send the machine now in the land and plow the land for farmers.
How do you think Burkina Faso can get mass production from these huge equipment being distributed to the farmers when there are fears of terrorist attack, especially on farms and villages?
I can tell you that the large part of the suitable land for agriculture are secured, and that's why we have also volunteers in different villages. So the part that insurgent really control is basically the north region, the Sahel region, but also in the east region. In the east region, you have a lot of thick forests, and most of those forests are conservation forests, like the Arli Park, the Penjari Park, that's cut between Benin, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So those are conservation. They are not for agricultural activities. So I think there are land that farmers will be able to cultivate and grow crop.
Yusuf Ouattara is a farmer in Burkina Faso, and he joins us in the second half of the news with more details. To some health-related issues, authorities in Togo have intensified surveillance and response measures following the discovery of 3 mpox cases. To date, an increase of 55 confirmed contact cases have been recorded across the country. This has prompted increased mobilization of public health structures across the country. Sankole Janko completes the story.
According to Professor Anomon Dagran, coordinator of Response Committee, the first patients have been in contact with more than 55 people. Togo recorded its first confirmed case of mpox on May 16, 2025 by the Ministry of Health. It involved a 22-year-old resident of the Goal Health District in Greater Lomé, who is currently hospitalized in an infectious disease unit. The number has now risen to 3 confirmed cases within a week. In response to the situation, the Ministry of Health has launched a national awareness and prevention campaign to inform the population about the modes of transmission, symptoms, and protective measures. As the campaign unfolds, the government is calling on the population to be vigilant and to strictly adhere to hygiene measures to limit the spread of the disease.
Sankole Janko with the details of CV Wadrago's report from Lomé. Still in the country, the deposit amount for the municipal elections scheduled for July 10, 2025 has been revised downward. Initially set at 50,000 CFA francs, it has now been reduced to 25,000 CFA francs. This decision, taken by presidential decree, aims to encourage wider participation in the candidacy of people. In addition, a preferential rate of 12,500 CFA francs has been established for female candidates with the aim of promoting their presence within local authorities. The decision follows the request of the political parties on Monday during the 20th session of the Permanent and Consultative Framework. The municipal elections are scheduled for July 10, 2025.
Politics,
analysis on major news,
social matters, and all. This is A Guest.
Our guest interview takes us to Burkina Faso, where the government has initiated the 2025-2026 agriculture campaign by distributing a large quantity of agro-pastoral and fishing equipment to producers valued at over 104 billion CFA francs, approximately $179 million. On Thursday, Captain Ibrahim Traore officially launched the campaign in Bobo Dioulasso, emphasizing that the significant batch of equipment is aimed at modernizing and intensifying agricultural production. However, concerns arise regarding how majority of the farmers across Burkina Faso will access this equipment, considering the constant terrorist attack on the country's territory. Yusuf Ouattara is a farmer in Burkina Faso, and he joins us again with more analysis about the situation.
Based on the experience of last year, so farmers who want their land to be plowed, they express a request from local authorities or local services of agriculture. And those services register the demand, and then they will send the machine now in the land and plow the land for farmers.
How do you think Burkina Faso can get mass production from these huge equipment being distributed to the farmers when there are fears of terrorist attack, especially on farms and villages?
I can tell you that the large part of the suitable land for agriculture are secured. And that's why we have also volunteers in different villages. So the part that insurgent really control is basically the north region, the Sahel region, but also in the east region. In the east region, you have a lot of thick forests, and most of those forests are conservation forests, like the Arli Park, the Penjari Park, that's cut between Benin, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So those are conservation. They are not for agricultural activities. So I think there are land that farmers will be able to cultivate and grow crop. I don't doubt about that. But of course, there are still some places like in the valley of the Suru, which is a very fertile land. I think the government has conducted recently military operation in order to secure this area as well. And I think it will increase the capacity of farmers in order to grow.
Importantly, Mr. Ouattara, majority of these equipment being provided are all modern equipment for mechanized farming. How do you think local farmers will be able to use these modern equipment being provided by the government to ensure that they carry out mass production for the country?
This is a very important issue that you are raising there. You know, in the past, the mechanized equipment was not adapted actually to the production. The government used to buy tractors for hundreds of hectares of land, while farmers have 2 hectares or 3 hectares or 5 hectares of land. So those big tractors were not suitable because it's under use. But if you look at the new equipment, those are very light equipment, very small equipment that a farmer with a very limited plot of land can use in order to produce his crop. So I think the machinery is much more adapted now. It's cheaper, it's usable, it's very easy to use by farmer. Because if you look at the machinery, you handle it with your hands. It's not a machine where you have to put some speed and or control all this. You don't need that. You can use it with your hands. It's like a oxen plow. So I think it's much more adapted for.
I'm concerned about trainings for these farmers. Are you saying that those farmers have been trained on how to use these modern equipments?
The equipment I have seen, if you are able to ride a bicycle, if you are able to ride a speed moped, then you will be able to use this equipment. So the equipment is not that sophisticated actually, but even if there are some tractors, very sophisticated tractors, and those sophisticated tractors will be used by professional drivers, by professionals who know those equipment. But the large bulk of the equipment, I think it is accessible today to farmers. Of course, they will still need some support, some technical support in terms of production, in terms of seeds, and in terms of how to plow all the farm. But I think they have the essential, the basic for to use the equipment.
And that's Yusuf Ouattara, who is a farmer in Burkina Faso. And anytime you hear the whistle on a Friday, it tells you that the time for sports. And Sankole Janko is here with details in the world of sports. Sankole.
Yes, Christopher. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's happening in the world of sports?
Well, the only thing that's happening that concerns us as Africans is that history is just 2 games away, because the stakes couldn't be higher. This week, all eyes are on the CAF Champions League final, a clash that promises fireworks, legacy, and a shot at immortality. Pyramids FC, the Cairo-based club that's turned ambition into action, have invested millions and now stand on the brink of their greatest triumph yet. After years of knocking on the door of continental success, they are 2 matches away from rewriting their history books. But standing in their way, none other than Mamelodi Sundowns, the South African juggernaut, chasing glory and looking like to recapture the magic of their 2016 title run. Fresh off clinching their 8th consecutive domestic league crown, the Brazilians have 1 goal left, conquering Africa once again. The battle is kicks off this Saturday, May 24th at the iconic Loftus Versfeld Stadium in Pretoria. Then it's all to play for in the decisive second leg on June 1st in the fiery finale under the Cairo lights. Will Pyramids rise Oh, will Sundowns shine? Well, that's going to be the case. But interestingly, ahead of this, because African Confederation Cup have officially revealed a brand new CAF Champions League trophy, symbolizing a bold transformation in the image and prestige of African top club competition. The launch event took place at the Total Energies headquarters in Johannesburg, South Africa. Guess what? The new trophy will make its historic debut when the first of each season finalists, of course, Mamelodi Sundowns or Pyramids, host each other victory. So either of these clubs would be the first club to hold this new trophy. Exactly.
Interesting.
Yes.
But I mean, before you go, a quick one. Champions League is, final is happening.
That will be next week. Of course, next week Inter Milan will take on, as you know, Paris Saint-Germain. Yes. And it promises to be. I'm neutral.
That's fine, because you don't have a team over there. But with that, we've come to the end of today's edition of Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcast on 94.9 FM from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you for listening, and many thanks to Fali Luso and Umu Danyogo for the technical assistance. Do interact with us via our social media platforms, X formerly Twitter, Instagram at WADR News, and on Facebook at WADR English Service. I am Christopher Aticho. Good afternoon and enjoy the rest of our broadcasts.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM, Newmi FM 94.0,
Hilltop Radio 104.7 FM,
and Veritas Radio 102.9 in Banjul, the Gambia. We also appreciate our listeners in Liberia via Alternative Youth Radio 98.9 FM, Lofa County,
Radio Kagama 94.5 FM, Niba County, DCN Radio 91.3 FM, Riverside County, Wakat FM Radio, Banga, Liberia, Radio Gulf FM 91.3